Today I'm showing you one of the many uses for Digi Images. I'll be using Gesso to transfer these laser printed digital images into my journal.
Now these are often fondly referred to as digis, and they're widely available from many scrapbooking and stamping companies.
Having images available in digital format means that there is a wide variety of things that you are able to do with these images. I find this really exciting, so I was really happy when Lynette from Sweet Pea announced that she was producing some of her stamps as digital images. But you need to be careful and check the copyright for each image or each artist for each company before you decide what you're going to be doing with these. You'll find that the copyright widely varies, and some things that are okay with one company are not okay with another. So check before you start.
Now I have checked with Lynette from Sweet Pea Stamps about what I'm allowed to do with these digital images, and so what I'm showing you today is within the copyright guidelines set out by Sweet Pea Stamps. So what I've done is I've printed a variety of digital images. Originally these are intended to use instead of stamps, so they're manufactured at the same image quality or DPI as the original stamp. So these are produced at 300 DPI. What I've done with these is blow them up a little bit larger. So for example, you can see the original stamp size might have been this, and I've increased the image to about double its size, so about twice the size of the original stamp. So I've inserted these images in Microsoft Word, and then I've just used the features within Word to make them a little bit larger. I've measured the size of my journal, and I'm just going to do a transfer. Now this is where you need to be very careful. Some companies will not allow any alteration to their images. This includes transferring because it's reversing the image, so just be very careful. Again, I've checked with Lynette from Sweet Pea, and this is within their guidelines.
I'm going to transfer my image onto a page where I've already started on the background. It doesn't matter with this technique whether there's something underneath or not. I'm using Gesso from Golden to do the image transfer because it works absolutely beautifully, and then there are a range of things that you can use over the top of this when you're done. Pencils, paints, all sorts of things, so it's a fantastic medium. The first thing you need to do is cover the page that you'd like to transfer your image to. You're aiming to apply a nice even coat of paint that doesn't really have any ridges or blobby bits. Once you've got that covered, and while it's still wet, quickly apply a coat of paint to the image you'd like to transfer. Following the same technique, you need just enough to cover the image. You can see that I've got that just here, but not so much that it's going to slip and slide around. You need to work relatively quickly because for this to work, the painted page and the painted image need to be still wet when you put one on top of the other. Carefully place the image paint side down on top of the painted page, and then burnish the back of the image. I'm using a spoon for this. It might have been better if I hadn't used one of my good kitchen spoons, but we won't tell my husband. For successful burnishing, you just need a smooth, flat tool. You can buy special burnishing tools, but I find that the back of a spoon works just as well. Make sure you've gone over the entire image. Here you are aiming to press out any air bubbles and make sure that both surfaces have made really good contact with each other. I like to go over the entire image once or twice. Just don't press too hard or you can make a real mess. I'm now adding a little bit of paint to the other side of the journal page, just so that these two have a little bit more in common, because one will be coloured, one won't be. I'm going to add a little bit of extra paint to the side that's currently purple because I'm going to add a partial image, the flowers from the black Hellebore Digistamp, and I've just printed this twice so I can use the flowers on the facing page. This will tie the two pages together and give me a border that matches my image. Once you're satisfied that the images have been burnished properly, leave this entire page to totally dry.
Now you can tell when you're ready to start working the paper off the back of your design, and having both of these done at the same time makes it very easy. This side still feels slightly damp, a little bit colder, and quite flexible. This side, on the other hand, feels very dry, a little bit more stiff, and a little bit warmer, I suppose, because this side's a little bit damp. You can still feel that dampness in the paper. So I'm going to remove this section first.
Mist the paper using a little bit of water. I keep a spray bottle on my desk almost permanently. Just spray a couple of squirts onto the back of the paper to remove. This softens the paper fibres, allowing them to be rubbed off. For small areas, I just use one finger and gently rub the back of the paper. Now you don't want to go too hard or too fast with this, otherwise you can damage your image. So what I like to do is just gently roll. You'll notice sometimes it comes off in nice long strips, making it much easier, and other times you really have to work at an area. Continue adding water and rubbing off the paper fibres until you've revealed your image. You can see here that some areas are a little darker and some a little lighter. The lighter areas mean that you have not yet removed enough of the paper fibres to completely reveal the image. If you're not sure you have removed enough of the paper fibres, you can leave your image to dry. If the printed image looks beautiful and crisp and black, you've removed enough. If it looks kind of like it's covered in snow, wet it and have another go at removing a little bit more paper. I'm going to give my main image a little bit longer to dry so that it doesn't rip. If you try and do this while the image is wet, you can actually tear it, so wait till it's fully dry. I've just removed the first layer of paper and I'm now repeating the process. I'm squirting the entire image with water. Sometimes when you're working on larger images, it takes a little bit more effort. I also like to use 2 or 3 fingers on larger images to rub the paper fibres, because otherwise that poor little index finger can get a bit sore. What you need to do is gently work on one area at a time, pushing the paper fibres off to the edge as you go. Otherwise you just keep rubbing the same fibre over and over. So rub in one section and then remove any of the little fibres. You'll find that these form little rolls or balls, so that makes it easy to brush them off. Keep doing this until the image is fully revealed. Just like the smaller image, continue to add water and rub at the paper until the design is properly revealed. The blacker the laser printing on the image, the easier it is to tell when the paper is gone. You'll notice that the image is very, very black and very dark when the paper has been removed from the top. Brush off as many of the little paper rolls as you can before leaving your image to dry. This is what your image transfers will look like when dry. You can see a few areas where I haven't removed the paper quite as well. They're a little bit sort of snowy, a little bit indistinct. The areas where the paper's been removed completely are crisp and black. This main image has a little of the original texture peeking through underneath. I love how that turned out. It just adds a bit more interest to the page. It's now ready for colouring. It's lovely and dry, and I have a beautiful transferred image. This is one of my favourite ways of transferring an image onto something else. Now it doesn't have to be paper. Anything that will hold the gesso, including canvas, you can use this same technique. Just make sure that you're really careful not to rub too hard and remove the image underneath. I hope you've enjoyed watching this simple gesso transfer technique, and I'll be back with more soon. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.